Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Too Short. You watching Fuse on Demand. Get it when you want it, baby.
What's up? It's your boy Ryan Leslie, aka R Les, representing the Next Selection Lifestyle Group, and right now, you're rolling with me.
We rolling, we rolling. We rolling, we rolling. We rolling, we rolling.
I think that a lot of the standards of excellence that I have come from, the high expectations that my parents have for me. My production history just spans so many different genres, and I've worked with, when I was with Puffy, worked on Beyonce, worked on Britney Spears, did a record for Loon featuring Mario Winans, Donnell Jones featuring Jermaine Dupri had his single, Sherry Dennis featuring Jim Jones and Young Jock had her single, the two Cassie singles, JoJo, Tanto Metro and Devontae, which is a reggae group, Virtue, which is a gospel group, B5, Nina Sky, Catherine McPhee. I mean, the list just goes on and on. My parents are big believers in the American dream, and they met because of music. From early on, I had the music bug, and I showed initially early signs of disruptive behavior. And after sitting down with a few psychologists, it was deduced that a lot of my disruptive behavior had to do with the fact that I was bored in class. And that had to do with the fact that, they had a gifted child on their hands. I went on to, do a lot of early testing, scored like an 1100 on my SATs when I was 9 years old. My family at that time, I guess there were one or two other folks, kids that were, going to college at super early ages around that time. And on a whim, I applied to, 3 private top-tier schools, Stanford, Harvard, and Yale. I had turned 16 and was, a freshman and the little guy on campus. I wanted to have this booming system in my dorm room. Went and bought this amazing Onkyo, stereo system, and I hadn't really been introduced to American pop music until I had spent a year abroad. I really got entrenched in this, really understanding how overseas American pop culture was really affecting the kids. So, armed with all of that sort of musical education I had gotten abroad, my freshman year, I had my stereo system and I was buying all the latest CDs. And Blackstreet, which was one of Teddy Riley's groups, had done a song called Love's in Need of Love Today. And I was telling everybody about the song. Man, Blackstreet got this crazy song. And someone pulled me to the side and said, look, that's pretty embarrassing. That's pretty embarrassing, man. You don't know that's Stevie Wonder? Harvard has a great library system. And so I went to Widener Library and checked out some books on Stevie Wonder. And I realized that he'd released his first album at age 11. So I immediately proceeded to call my father and said, look, I've decided to do music and I'm a little late because, the guy whose career I want to chase, he had his first album out 5 years earlier than the age I am now. The passion I discovered then, that was a passion that I had that I just could not ignore. And initially, I thought I was going to be some superstar artist, so initially I'd called the studios around Boston and say, hey, how much does it cost? I want to record a song. A lot more expensive than I had anticipated, so I thought, hey, why not teach myself? Much more cost effective, and what I found is that the studio really wasn't being used, so I actually eventually basically moved in, spending 30, 40 plus hours a week, all my nights, days, not really getting much sleep. I still have the same schedule today, and that's really was the genesis of the current schedule that I have. But that didn't really bode well for my pathway and coursework. Still managed to eventually graduate on time. And every weekend, every talent show, BU, MIT, Boston College, Tufts, anywhere I could perform, I was always writing new music so I could go and showcase it for folks. And I actually wrote this speech about pursuing your passion. So I knew I had discovered mine. And I actually won the speech competition and was selected as the Harvard Orator the year that I graduated. I was gonna sell my music productions for $200 a pop, and I'd sell enough month to month to pay my rent, and eventually I'd get my big break. And I said, man, where can I go? And looked down at my student ID was in my hand, and I said, well, I can go to the studio. And I actually, that night, moved in to the studio. Forgive me, Harvard. But that night, moved into the studio with my duffel bag, and it was great because I had all the amenities of a dorm, and we had a laundry, and on the second floor there were the showers, and I was spending all my time working there anyway, so and then, you know, scrounged up a little change and went to Kinko's and made some flyers, and, you know, $200, come get your music production, you know, got my own studio, la da da. And it didn't really work out. Moved out to Roxbury, and was able to end up landing a job at an Urban League, which is kind of a community center, and was able to put some of my talents to good use, inspiring kids to go to college.